has a distinctive problem. They have an awful lot of foreigners living in the country, particularly Muslims and people from Pakistan and Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh, and then they have a lot of people who once lived in the Caribbean when they were colonies of England. And so they have quite a few foreigners there. If I had to guess, I'd say probably 3/8 are foreigners. 3/8 are foreigners approximately. And so that's a lot. And so perhaps some of them might not like what the United States has done and might try to do something to him because he represents the country. But there is certainly a threat there without terrorism. I mean, there just is. But 500 people, I don't think so. I would have to have it justified to understand what they're talking about. Now, the cost to the American public has to be in the billions. And it's just ludicrous. And it's like everything else today. There are no holds barred. I mean, these people in power, they do anything they want. They just do anything they want. It's not only in government, it's also in corporate America, Wall Street banking, the insurance companies. They just do what they want. And we get to pay for it.
Nobody says anything anymore, do they? They're all bought and paid for, and
right. Incidentally, I wanted to bring up, I can sandwich this in here. Gold is off around $670 right now in the aftermarket. And the top stocks did pretty good. SSRI was off 42 cents. Mindfinders was off only 12 cents. GG, which is Gold Corp, was off 27 cents. And Ag Eagle was up on the day a penny. So again, the stocks are telling you what they've been telling you for a week. We don't want to go down. And so you should be buying in here. Did the coin prices come down at all?
No. Nope.
There you go.
They're the same as they were on Friday.
The barometer really is the numismatic coins. I mean, if they stayed unchanged or higher, we're at a bottom. Did they stay unchanged or are they higher?
They stayed unchanged from Friday.
There you go. There's another thing that's very important in here we didn't talk about today is when I took my prices very early this morning, we had the yen up 0.0090 or almost a penny, and the euro was down 0.0096, almost a penny, and the pound was down 0.0125, which is a penny and a quarter. Then it got worse during the course of the day. They were both down about 2 pennies, the pound and the euro. And then they came back strongly. They were both off about 0.60 in round figures. Wait a minute, 0.95 and 0.58, and the yen was up 0.67. So tell me, how did the USDX do? Because it started off in a fashion where it should have been up a point.
I think
and it all came back. So how did it end up?
Well, let me tell you here, just a few seconds. Let me get to my...
Because that wasn't natural. That was being manipulated, incidentally. Every time the dollar gets strength, there's fierce selling into it.
0.38 at 85.70.
It lost 70% of its gains during the course of the day. So that's significant. In other words, the dollar can't hold a rally, even when it's artificially created. I won't use inseminated. Created. Gold's off 7.20, silver's off 22 pennies. And that's in the access market, which is very thin And, I said in Saturday's forecaster that you can expect a little bit more pressure during Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And after people find out what's going on at that G20, gold and silver are going to head back up, and the stock market's going to head further down. Now, they've noticed it in the market already because I said the financials were leading the market up, and they're faltering, and that's an indication that Monday might be off 200 or 300 points. And lo and behold, it was off 254 points. In fact, S&P was up 256, and NASDAQ was up 260 equivalent Dow points. So, and the market did recover about 50 points in the last hour of trading, but that certainly is nothing to write home about.
Well, Bob, their timing is off this time because there's a lot more going on than normal, but you can go back in the past, and it's the same thing. Any of these meetings, these world meetings, these, G8, G20s or whatever, whoever it is, they put pressure on gold, dollar gets stronger, but usually the stock market is up. So, this time it's a little bit different with with everything that's going on, but usually those are, what you'll see going into these meetings. The Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, last night she said that this summit's supposed to have some sort of a global New Deal for a $2 trillion plus fiscal stimulus, and she says she will not let anyone tell her that she has to spend more money. And the Spanish prime minister or finance minister basically also said the same thing. He dismissed any new cash being pledged at Thursday's summit. And so they're beginning to back down, and they don't want to print any more money going into the market. Are they just waiting for the U.S. to pick it up, to pick up the pieces?
Well, I think that they are avoiding their responsibility. They allowed their banks to, and I know the banks supposedly are privately owned, but, they're really, the banks control the government in every country. Whether people want to believe that or not, it's true. And along with them, so don't the brokerage firms and the private equity groups. So with that said, they created the monster. They gave Swiss franc loans to businesses, commercial and residential real estate. And that was a disaster of all disasters. I mean, how can any third world currency compete with the Swiss franc? I mean, people had to take their local currency in Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Hungary, Romania, and pay the loans back in Swiss francs. Impossible. So they knew it was coming down, and Merkel knew. She's not stupid. She's a Bilderberger, incidentally. And so to back off and not help these countries is not the right thing to do. Number one, it was their fault. 80% of the fault is the fault of the lender, because the lender is a professional. He or she, the lender, is supposed to know what they're doing. I mean, why would you be giving loans to people who can't pay them back in currencies that at that time are the strongest in the world? You don't do that. So everybody knew in financial circles and political circles that they weren't doing the right thing. So, why do they feel that they shouldn't participate in helping these people get bailed out. And they should. It's their responsibility. It's just like the people in the banks in America who wrote the loans and the rating agencies that said they were AAA and sold all that 60% garbage to the, or 60% of that garbage to the European banking system. And the banks in Europe knew what they were buying. They were all in on it. So the banks are getting bailed out, but the people aren't. And so we're back to the same thing that we are in America, with the banks getting bailed out and the people not getting bailed out.